These first 2 weeks of Februllage, I dug deep and I maybe solved my problem with literal thinking in my art. I have a complicated relationship with art prompt challenges. Not because I don't like prompts, but because my brain takes them very literally. If the prompt says plant, my first instinct is find a picture of a plant, put it on the page, Bob's your uncle. And every time that approach leaves me feeling super flat. Like I've answered the prompt, but I haven't said anything. So how did I solve the problem of literal thinking in my art? I stopped asking, how do I show this prompt? And started asking, what does this prompt make me think about? Let's talk about it. When I work too literally, I feel like my collages become illustrations instead of conversations. I'm focused on correctness, on whether someone could look at it and say, yes, that's a jellyfish. And that mindset sort of shuts down everything else I care about in my work. So when Februllage started this year, I knew if I didn't change how I approached the prompts, I'd either burn out or disengage completely. So I limited my scope, choosing just 2 prompts from the first 2 weeks. And started asking, what does this prompt make me think about? That one question changed everything. Let's start with broccoli. What does this prompt make me think about? Immediately, I thought of Adrian Boswell. Boswell is a London-based artist known as Broccoli Man, and as his name suggests, he became known primarily for his work with spray-painted broccoli placed in shadow boxes. But honestly, I am way more interested in his collage work. It's truly remarkable and puts me in mind of Dali. He's that good. I love his use of color and space, repeating elements that just carry the eye all the way through the artwork. Honestly, I definitely recommend checking out his work. And I also thought back to this conversation I had with one of you. See, we were chatting in the comments and you mentioned that you had a broccoli cut out, but you weren't sure where it went. So I suggested making the shape of a broccoli using other shapes, like using people's heads as the little florets on the top. I kept thinking about this idea, and because I also didn't have a cutout of broccoli, I decided it could be an interesting challenge. So, armed with this inspiration and a tactic for creative problem solving, I got to work. But I had a problem. In my prep for collaging, I had failed to peer into the future well enough to know that I would need a bunch of tiny head cutouts. So, even though I had done a lot of prep work before Februllage started, I had to go back into my books. But hey, it happens. So as I'm cutting and thinking, the theme of the piece is slowly beginning to take shape. With the idea of a bunch of heads clustered together, it feels like the people should all be a united group. And also maybe not all heads, some torsos too, just so it's maybe a little less gruesome seeming. This image of a memorial cemetery was a key decision moment. I wanted to use this as the stalk of the broccoli, and this brought the idea of patriotism forward. It's a visual reminder of the sacrifice sometimes required to uphold the rights of others.
Was it all just a dream, just all in my head? Floating rivers upstream, the things that you said. Tell me and be honest, tell me, did you know that you would believe in me just like the winter's snow? Tell me and be honest, tell me, should I've known that you'd believe in me? So painfully quiet and slow, I try my best to move on, to let go. They say time is a healer, just you wait and see. quiet and slow. I try my best to move on, letting go. Letting go.
I've been calling this piece Resistance in my head, though I might change it in the future. I'm not sure. Last year, my hubby asked what I wanted for Christmas, and I decided I really wanted to get a nice pair of scissors. So I did some research on recommended brands in the Buy It for Life subreddit and landed on these Ernest Wright scissors. I definitely don't want to give the impression that these are necessary. They are not. But I think the craftsmanship in this tool is inspiring, and I also think it's good to celebrate the many kinds of artists in the world. And the really exciting thing is that they were on back order, but got delivered this month. Yay! All right, on to the next prompt.
So my first idea was to make a collage that was compositionally inspired by the broccoli artist. So then I thought maybe I could just try to be funny. You know, I'll make a character with like eyes and little teeth and hair. But the problem with that is that it feels too literal. Ugh.
I desperately needed a break, so I took out the compost and I checked on the native seeds I planted about 2 weeks ago. And then of course I had to check on my little indoor babies. Y'all, I got a confession.
I decided that I would work on the plants prompt because I make collages about plants and nature all the time. It feels like kind of one of the main things that I'm interested in. I don't know what to do. And I could just change the prompt that I'm doing, but I feel like I've already spent a lot of time on this, so I don't want to change. But if I just keep going, maybe something will come to me. I don't know, or maybe it'll just be bad art, and that's fine.
Yes.
So I'm going to try again. We'll see what happens. Maybe nothing will happen because I'm clearly getting into my own head.
But before we do that, let's get this carpet protecting thingy down first. It's been slow going, but I am trying to get the studio back in order. One of the terrible things about the old carpet was that it was very flattened from, like 10 years of use. And the new carpet is not so flat, so it's really hard to roll on, and that is something that I anticipated, but not something I realized would be such a problem. So after a little outside time and some housekeeping, I got back into the studio with renewed vigor, and I thought, you know what, if I am really stuck, let's just start with something more personal. So I pulled out this garden plan that I made, I don't know, in the depths of December, and I decided that this would be my background. One of the things that I want to do with my gardens is not just plant plants, but plant an ecosystem, something that will support the insects and birds and small mammals that live around me. This for me was my way of asking myself, what does the word plant make me think of? And it makes me think of the ecosystem. It makes me think of all of the relationships that are necessary. Here are the two collages that I've made so far for Februllage. With both of them, and with varying degrees of ease, I was able to eventually get to a spot where I think I was doing a good job of thinking of the prompts less literally and maybe not abstractly, but at least laterally. And I'm calling that a win, all right? How about you? What are you working on this month? And if you want to share, I'd love to see what you make in my community tab. Some of you have been posting, and it's been so cool to see other people's art. And also just how creative everyone is in how they interpret the prompts. If you like this video and you want to hang out with me a little longer in the studio, then check this video out. And I think that's it. Okay, bye!